Alright guys, Squarebox Games here with our very first test run of Star Wars Legion. Now we're doing something a little bit different today. We're playing 3 players, so there's myself, we have Ryan, and the first guest star, Steven. We're going to do a 3-player free-for-all. We did skirmish rules on points cost, and we are doing the control scenario with clear conditions, and for deployment we just we put the object in the center and kind of did our corner. So we're going to start with Ryan here. Tell me about who you got here.
Yeah, so I'm running Vader as my commander, and then I'm running a bunch of trooper units, as many as I could fill in. Not a whole lot of upgrades except for the shore troopers here. With Vader, since we're taking an objective here and trying to hold it, I've got some things that might be able to help me keep people at bay. If I can get over there, Vader's a little bit slow and I don't have force speed, but as far as my troopers go, they're pretty minimal. There's just as many as attack force as I can actually get.
So you got some snipers there?
Yeah, so I'm trying to add range to compensate, for Vader's melee, and then over here, with the shore troopers, we've got sort of the same thing, but I've tried to give a little bit more advantages for ranged attack also with my mortar trooper. So we're just going to see if we can kind of maneuver in and do as much damage as we can to keep people away from the objective.
All right, deployment-wise, you seem to be pretty condensed here with Vader leading the forces, but you've got your mortar trooper out front.
Yeah. So because he's an emplacement trooper, he can go one outside of our deployment zone, and because of our kind of weird rules, we said that 2 range of 2 was where we're going to be. So he's out there by his lonesome, and we'll see what happens.
All right, Steven, we're on your side of the board here. You're playing some Rebels.
Yes, so I've gone with my airspeeder, and I have Wedge as the pilot of that. It's a errata on the card where he's actually got field commander on it. So because of that, then in building my force, I didn't have to have an actual commander. He is the commander. And then I went with Sabine, trying her for the first time with this. I don't have her paired up with the Mandalorians, mainly because in doing skirmish with the 500 point cost, you have to have 2 core units, and then if you add Sabine, and then you add the Mandalorians, that takes up your force pretty quick. So if you're going Mandalorian, you have to go all in Mandalorian there.
But she can still hold her own.
But yeah, she can still hold her own. I'm hoping maybe to use some fire support with my Mark II blaster trooper here with the Rebel veterans, and I got a couple sets of troopers. So I'm hoping
you got some vets and then 2 sets of regular.
2 sets of regular.
Nice, with the Z6.
Yep, one with the Z6.
Throwing a bunch of white die down.
Yep.
All right, tell me about how you set up your deployment here.
So
give me your strategies real quick.
I'll just tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to dominate and win. So I'm going to take the airspeeder, and I'm just going to try to go towards Ryan down here with the Empire.
That's a good idea.
And just wipe it out. I'm not worried. I'm just going to patrol kind of the battlefield with him and keep people away from the objective. And then I'm going to try to move my troopers up towards the objective.
Awesome.
And that's all I will say at this point in time.
Sweet. All right, guys, I'm also running the Rebellion. We'll just say it's a offshoot of the Rebellion. They're competing with each other. I'm doing Cassian and K2. This is my first time playing with them. Cassian's starting with his pistol. He's got duck and cover, offensive push, and I gave him prepared supply so we can get an extra dodge here. K2's got Jin's blaster. I've got 3 sets of Rebel, just core units. One's completely blank, one just has an extra mini, one's got a mini sniper and targeting scopes. I've got the ATRT with the rotary blaster and linked to targeting array. And the last thing I have, I've also just got these guys, haven't played them before. I have Rebel Commando Strike Team with the sniper, of course, but they also have Hunter, a long range comlink, and recon intel. Now for my deployment, I haven't actually done the recon intel, but we kind of pushed me back a little bit. I spread out a little more to kind of compensate for the length of the map. But on this side, I've got Cassian and K2, as well as the ATRT and the squad of naked Rebel troopers. I've got Rebel troopers with an extra guy, our commando team, and then over here is the Rebels with a sniper. Okay, so as for our battlefield, I think we decided to make Ryan laid a lot of this out to be kind of like a Western style town square. We got a statue there. Most of this is either 3D printed or trash terrain. Now, before, I did say we decided to give me an extra 10 points because I actually painted my miniatures. I don't know if we discussed that, but that's what we're going with.
No, wrong.
So we got a town square here. We're putting our objective right here, and our objective is Max Rebo.
Max Rebo.
So
Unpainted
the
Max Rebo,
unpainted
10
Rex
points.
Amigo. So try to control him. The goal is we are competing to get Max Rebo to play at our concert.
He's going to play the Imperial March.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to play by the end of this.
We'll see what happens. But we've got to kind of cluster of buildings around here that's going to keep things nice and tight. Not a lot of alleyways. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. We also have a little Imperial base over here. We've got a Rancor that's hanging out. He's not really affecting the game. He's just there. But that's the map we have. So we'll see what happens after round one. All right, guys. We are at the end of round one of our skirmish. Steven played Assault, so we activated some units here. Mostly moved forward here. His speeder started going this direction towards Ryan's units. Sabine made it around to here, behind these buildings, trying to get closer to the Max Rebo Band. Someone did lose their torso.
He's just beside himself right now.
Gosh, he's still alive, though. Ryan also played Assault, but Steven rolled a die to go first because we're playing some weird three-player free-for-all rules here. His guys mainly just moved forward, correct?
Yep, they did.
Moving their way as a big battle line towards the objective here. And then my guys kind of spread apart. We've got a couple rebel troops going up here. The sniper team there. These guys going up the middle, single file, stand trooper style. These guys are going up. Cassian and K2 are this area. Now, the only damage we had happen is Cassian did take a shot and kill a couple troopers over here.
Yep.
He reconfigured and went down that line of sight. And my sniper was primed right here, ready to go, but Steven actually took his veterans and came and did 6 hits to me, which just annihilated my sniper, but the leader was actually not in line of sight, so only my good unit died. So yeah, that's the end of round one. All right, guys, we're at the end of round two, finally. It's long rounds because there's 3 of us. This is what we got going on. All 3 of us chose push. And after a randomizing order, we decided to do Ryan, Tyler, Steven. So Ryan went first. What did your guys do?
So I moved up here and I actually attacked Cassian with these guys. So we did some long range sniper stuff, and I think we hit Cassian, but he had some I think some suppression or dodge or something like that. And it wasn't quite as impactful, but we still did some battling back and forth there. I think from then on, I mainly pushed all my guys up here. And I did move these guys over here and attack Sabine, but Sabine had a shield and some other things.
She was down there behind those guys, right?
Yeah, and she was able to fend off my attacks. And then what did you do from that point, Steven?
I started moving all my guys up, trying to get them closer to the objective to get a point. I did a standby over here on these guys, didn't do anything. And then I was able to get my Mark II guy within range of the objective. Moved these guys up a little behind the building. And then I was able, because Sabine has jump 2, moved her up on top, and then she has gunslinger. And I attacked these 2 trooper units here and took out 2 guys on each of those. And she's in range of the objective. And then I was trying to take out the ATRT, didn't have enough. I would have had to have like a perfect hit on that. But I moved my airspeeder around, which first displaced him, but it actually ended up working against me because then that gave him a suppression, which then I fired my harpoon, which hit, but because he had the suppression, the cover because of that canceled out that hit, so then I couldn't do anything to him. But then I actually ended up doing 3 damage to the ATRT. But my airspeeder's not within range.
Just barely out of the Rebo.
Of Max Rebo.
The Rebo zone of influence.
So then he moved the ATRT and got the point.
Yeah, so basically I traded some fire over here with Cassian at these stormtroopers. He took some hits. He did some hits. I think K2 was able to knock out a guy here. He had some line of sight right around the corner. I moved these rebel troopers kind of closer, mainly just to get into the points, because I know we're doing a shorter game tonight. The ATRT took some mega hits. He's halfway dead, but instead of doing anything, we've decided to only play one more round because it's getting late and we're all old. I decided to pivot and jump on there just to get close to the Max Rebo. This guy took a shot at him. It did nothing, and he kind of ran around this way. And these guys have climbed safely up the back of the building to get a nice overlook of the battlefield. So we are going to do one more round, right? Make it a 3-round game. So we'll be back after the final round to see what happened. Actually, no, we need to count points. Let's count points because it's the end of round 2. So, Steven, how many units do you have within range 1 of the best musician in the galaxy, Max Rebo?
I have 2. I have this guy that's aimed at the back of Max Rebo's head because he better give me a point or I'm going to kill him. And then I got Sabine. Sabine's up here on top.
Okay, so that's 2.
So 2.
That guy is within 1. That guy, did we say he's within 1?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the ATRT. So I have 3 units. And the Empires, they're on their way. They're on their way. You're definitely going to be disadvantaged with the shorter game because your units were slower. But all right, we're going to do one more round and see what happens. All right, guys, we are at the finale of the game, end of round 3, which is what we're playing tonight. Vader played a 1-pip card, correct?
That's correct.
What happened with your turn?
So
What'd you do?
Vader, he maneuvered 2 times here, and then he suffered a wound token to shuffle his token back into my pile. So that let him get up here, do a saber throw and knock some guys down, and then basically throw his thing back in for another opportunity to activate. So he did that. I basically pushed my troopers around here into this alleyway that sort of cut Steven's guys off here, and they were able to get close to Max to hear this wonderful Imperial serenade. These troopers, they couldn't really do anything because they were super suppressed, so they ended up just doing one action and firing towards this gunner over here. And then this guy, he couldn't do anything because he was the last turn, so I chose not to do anything because it wouldn't have affected the outcome of the game.
All right, Steven, you played a 1-pip Explosions with Sabine.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Read it and weep.
Fun card there.
It is fun, and especially in control, which is what I was hoping when we decided on control. I was like, okay, we'll see about this. Because then everyone towards the end of the game is trying to get to the center point, so everyone's converging on the central point, so it's a great time to drop those bombs. So I ended up, before that, these guys back here didn't really do anything. I just fired at these guys and took out half of them. And then we're kind of just moving some guys up. I had this other core unit here. He took out a couple on this. And then I was just kind of hanging out. I fired with my Mark II. I took out the ATRT, so did the veterans here. So I got rid of the ATRT before all this happened, which was good. And then it was time to play the Explosions card, which Sabine was chilling right here behind this barricade. So I could just go ahead and throw it, use the speed 1 move to get here, to get her out of range, but still within range of Rebo, because I threw the bombs here. So she was just out of range, which was good. And then she still had an activation after the bombs exploded. Nice. So bombs exploded,
Killed
took out a bunch of guys.
Mainly my guys. I had 2 units of
surprisingly, there was a hammerhead dude that somehow survived both of the blast. But while he was cheering, he's like, I survived! And then Sabine just picked him off.
Yes.
So he got canned. So that kind of cleaned this area out for me. And then I just came in here to add in the
Speeder came in, was able to move that in to get another unit there. I played a volunteer mission, so I went last. K2 moved up, gave some tokens out. Cassian took a pot shot over at Sabine and actually did a little bit of damage. My rebel troopers moved in here and all died. My ATRT died. These guys moved up forward, took a few shots, missed, took some return fire, and half of them died. This guy actually snuck in a shot towards that emplacement trooper over there, but all that combined fire was not enough to get him off the board. So, at the end of round 3, let's count. I have approximately 0 units near Max Rebo. Ryan, how many do you have?
So I've got
within range 1?
got Vader, this guy, and these guys are hanging out.
Okay, Steven?
I have 4. So there was one casualty. My unit leader was right here, and he got taken out by the bomb. But the next guy I nominated right here is just within range. So the veteran's still there. So the Mark II, so 2, the Sabine's 3, and then the T-47 airspeeder makes 4. So 4 units.
Okay, so since that was the last round, Steven's going to get 2 points. So you have 2 victory points. I have 1 victory point from having 3 units at the end of round 2, as opposed to Steven's 2 and round 0. So Steven, you're going to technically win.
Yes.
I'm second place, you're third. But if we want to count all together how many units we had each round, Steven had a total of 6 units near Max Rebo at the end of rounds. Ryan had 3 and I had 3. So Max Rebo will be joining Sabine's Rebels and playing a fancy concert for them on probably Mandalore. So that's it for this really odd, only 3 round, but 3-person free-for-all match we decided to play last minute. Everyone's going for the Rebo, but thanks for stopping by, guys. We're going to try to do a lot more Legion content. This is a game we all love. Steven's going to probably guest star with us quite a bit. So until then, go play some games. Legion.
Rebo!
Max Rebo. We're gonna title this game. What was it?
Rebo Rush.
Repo the Rebo.
Rebo Rush.
Hashtag Repo Rebo.
Don't fear the Rebo. All right, see you guys.